And we are now live. TikTok live number 87. Gosh, guys, it's been like 3 weeks or something since I got my last one. And I've been studying for the oral surgery board exam. So I've been heavily involved with that, unfortunately, because honestly, I love doing TikTok lives. I love getting on here, helping out any way I can, answering questions, getting after it. And so, all right, let's get into it. Let's do it. I hope everyone's having a good week. I hope everyone had a good holiday season. Right now is December 27th, 2 days after Christmas. I hope everyone had a nice Christmas. Hope everyone had a nice Hanukkah season. And we got New Year's next week. So whoever's listening to this, Happy New Year. This will be my last TikTok live of 2025. So thanks for tuning in. Here we go. I hope we get on because I'm going to be giving you guys a shout out. Again, top five to 10. Sometimes I even go up to like 8 or 9. Top 5 the top listeners on the TikTok live. So, all right, guys, let's get into it. PHILLYROLLA said, yo. What's up, PHILLYROLLA? Jfcjdbddj. Hey, Doc, long time to see. How have you been? Good. I'm in good, dude. Just studying for that board exam. I got it February 3rd. I'm on Tuesday, the second session. So just pounding the books until then, trying to find as much time to possibly study. All County, my organization just flipped me up. I'm at Melville Monday through Friday, but now we need coverage at Jericho, so the other office. So I'll be there I might be there 1 or 2 days a week. I prefer to just stay in Melville. I got in a really nice groove working with an excellent team I got there. Excellent team. I really enjoy working with them. I hope they like working with me too. I got my desk there and I have my loops with a light battery that needs a charging port. So I have my charging port all set up and everything. So going to different offices is just really going to mess up the flow, which I could be fine with, changing up the flow. It's just like right before while I'm studying for this exam and stuff, you know what I mean? It's kind of like it would be like a thorn in the side, you know what I mean? And I'm all about stepping up for the team and stepping to the plate. But, here's another thing. It's another 20 minutes plus further drive, which means another 20 minutes back. So that's another 45 minutes a day. And then that's not even include traffic. Traffic's going to be even more. So, that's time out of studying. That's very inconvenient, especially you get it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But let's move on to the next question. Jacob Doaga said, what was your major? My major was chemical biology from Stevens Institute of Technology. That's basically just biochemistry. All these colleges, they got to make some fancy name. When I was at NYU Poly, now that's NYU Tandon, those were my first 2 years. They called it biomolecular sciences. Everyone's got a fancy name, right? I'm Brendan, though. There's my fancy name. E, follow the live creator. Thanks, E. Thanks, friends. PHILLYROLLA, going to take the CBSE this February. Get it, my man. So you're grinding in the books right now, too, right? Yeah, so you're February. That's probably first, second week of February. I am first week of February for my board exam. So many exams. January, February, right? So good luck, PHILLYROLLA. Yeah. JFCJD said, Philly, good luck to you. That's nice. Thanks for saying that, JFCJD. David followed the live creator. Thanks, Dave. What's up, man? Pizzy PPR. Let's see. How did you handle getting good grades and studying for the CBSE in dental school? Quizlet was the key. I found that Quizlet was the key. Getting those repetitions in for studying, getting a nice groove there. That's what I'm studying for the board exam, actually, is Quizlets. And then we do case presentations and answering questions there because it's an oral board exam. Like we have to answer everything verbally on the spot like that. So it's different from the CBSE where it's written like multiple choice on the computer. Literally just for CBSE though, it's also different. CBSE is going to be UWorld. It's going to be Pathoma. It's going to be Boot Camp. It's going to be Sketchy Farm, Sketchy Micro. If you're looking for more information, that I made a video on that with Axe. He's a he's a first year oral surgery resident out of Cornell in Manhattan. I graduated this last June, and we have a really updated video that you're going to want to watch. It's called CBSE Dissection. I highly recommend looking that up on YouTube. Honestly, we put it on podcasts too. YouTube podcasts, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you look for and watch your content stuff, we put it up there for you. So that's a really good CBSE resource to use for resources, references, study strategy, everything. And then for just getting through dental school, good grades, that's what I'm saying is efficient and effective studying. Effective studying is obviously getting better grades, but then efficient studying is maintaining those better grades and studying less and less. That's key for dental school. All right. Let's keep it going. Jacob Dowaga said, do you have to do trauma care? As oral maxillofacial surgeons, we do facial trauma, but right now I'm still waiting on hospital privileges, which is ridiculous. But then, when I finally do get hospital privileges, they're not going to pay me to take calls. So It's different. Most places in the United States, you work in a hospital, taking call, they pay you to take call. Now, it's negligible. They pay you a very low amount, but yeah, they expect you to do that for free on Long Island. That I'm not really a fan with. I really don't want that to be. I don't want that to set precedent that surgeons should just do free care at hospitals. It doesn't make sense. It's not a good look. So I'm not in support of that kind of I don't know theme, whatever's going on with the why are they paying surgeons to take call? I don't know. Someone can answer that. Bro, berry pop tart. How long after a root canal can I wait to get a crown? Depends on the dentist that did that root canal. I don't do root canals, so I would ask them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't go ask a bariatric surgeon how long after surgery they want you on your feet. It actually is pretty soon, believe it or not. But that's besides the point. After a root canal, I would probably pretty soon. You don't want to leave that exposed for too long. You know what I mean? To the bacteria in the oral cavity. They're probably putting something temporary over it. But I would ask your general dentist and the endodontist that did your root canal what they want to do. All right. PHILLYROLLA said Jfcjdbddj. Thanks. Jacob Joaga, do we have to do trauma care? It's facial trauma, and if you work in a hospital setting, you take call. You might be taking facial trauma call. It depends on the level of the hospital. You know, G Noble _22. What would be your number one tip for getting into dental school besides GPA and DAT? Number one, I mean, you want to have a good resume. You want to have a good DAT score. You want good GPA. You want to have good letters of recommendation. You want to show that you've been doing something more than just college while you're in college, right? In undergrad. You want to show that you took initiative, maybe leadership positions. Those are always excellent. And then something I found that helped was, shadowing dentists that maybe go to or faculty at the dental school that you dream of going to. If you could find faculty members, attendings at that dental school that work, they have their own private practice in the area. That's going to be a huge help, especially if they wrote a letter of recommendation for it. You know what I mean? That's a good thing to look into. User 5899966. For those pursuing ortho or other competitive specialties, how important are grades and class rank? Wow. Well, ortho is one of the most competitive to get into for whatever reason. Maybe it's like I don't know. I don't know. Ortho is extremely competitive. Yeah, but ortho also likes to see research. Ortho really likes to see research when you're in dental school. They love to see orthodontic. If you're applying to orthodontic specialty, they love to see that you did research throughout undergrad, and it's fairly easy to get. I mean, you just want to talk to faculty at your dental school and see. It's not easy, but you need to get out there and look for someone that's doing research, and you could add on to their team and maybe have something to contribute to the table. But yeah, everyone's always looking for more help for those research projects. G Noble _22, follow the live creator. Thanks, man. Mo the Baker said, how aggressively are you paying off your loans? Sorry if that's too personal. How aggressively? I mean, it really depends on your financial situation. So regardless of what I'd be doing, I mean, I just got a mortgage I got to work on that, paying off the house. It really depends on your financial situation and how fast or slow you want to pay those loans off. I know a lot of people saying pay them off first, pay them off right away, live within your means for the first couple of years, and then pay them off and get that off your plate. Other people are saying just pay those loans as slowly and as minimally as possible. So I don't know what tactic, what strategy works in for your situation. You know what I mean? If I told you one way or the other, it could be wrong based on your personal situation. Iced Coffee said, hi, any tips for if I haven't received any interview invites yet for dental school apps? I would call the program. I would call them and be like, hey, I just wanted to check in, make sure that you received all my application materials. Are you missing anything? I just wanted to be sure that they all made it to your school on time, because they kind of went out in a mixed order sometimes, right? That's a fair question, to make sure that they received all your materials. I think that's a good thing to check in and then just reiterate, hey, I'm super excited to go to your program if I was to be so fortunate to have the chance. Ice Coffee said, Talia Blatter. What's up, Talia? Talia Blatter said, I cannot wait for my husband to finish residency in July. Ready for post-training life. OMG. Yes. And good luck to him while he's finishing up. It's really important. Hopefully, just keep hanging in there. I know how hard it is getting along with, while him in residency, but then him getting along with, going through residency can be tough at times. So good luck to both you guys. And just remember, immediately after residency, things change, but it isn't always just like immediately better. For example, right now I'm studying for the board exam that you take in your first 1 to 2 years after residency. I'm only like 6-7 months out of residency, but I'm living pretty much like a resident right now just studying my face off with that on top of working, right? Because working full time and then just studying. That's my entire work week. It's working full time and studying. So yeah. Julian said, "What should I do as a high school student if I'm pursuing dentistry?" So if you're pursuing dentistry, I mean, I would take it one step at a time. You got to get into a college. You got to attend college first, right? That college, you need to get the prerequisites in that the dental schools are looking for the application, right? So I would look at colleges that have a very strong pre-dental program or pre-health or pre-med program. And it's also, here's another thing, undergraduate schools that are combined with a dental school on the campus. Why? Because say you want to get some research in or help out some faculty members, get some FaceTime with some faculty members at the dental school. If you're there, you could do it. If you're a whole state over from the nearest dental school, it's going to be harder to do something like that. You know what I mean? And then you're kind of out on your own as far as like pre-dental tips, strategies, Q&A sessions with dental students at that school, mentoring sessions. So that's something to consider. All right. Good luck, Julian. Ish ZZZ said, going to dental school after med school for OMFS. Any advice for residency apps, and should I do it? I mean, it's fine for residency applications. Yeah, you want a really good CBSE score, you want a really good GPA, high ranking, good letters of recommendation. Maybe you got some good externships in. Those are things you want to look at for applying to oral surgery. Makaba said hi. Hi, Makaba. JTBC_8 at E. It doesn't matter. Dental schools aren't ranked like med schools. I wouldn't say it doesn't matter. I would say that like it's different. It's different for all. You can't just put a blanket over all dental schools and say that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like certain dental schools it might matter for, certain it might not. So just keep that in mind. 7776531. What are the benefits of the MD? Can you still work in a hospital with the 4-year OMFS degree? Yeah, I can. That's the thing. What are the benefits? That's what it's coming to these days, and everyone's starting to recognize that. The last 2 years, the surgery residencies that are 6 years were significantly more unmatched ranked on match day than the 4-year programs, and that's not good. That's good. I have a lot of ideas for that, and I don't know. I'm still waiting for someone to connect so I can. I want to build a profession, not take away from it. I got a lot of ideas. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, the benefits maybe for the MD. Now, look, I'm biased because I'm the 4-year guy. I'm a 4-year resident, right? I was a 4-year resident. I did the 4-year oral surgery degree. I'm biased because I didn't want to do a fellowship or do research or work. I mean, I do want to work in academia, but it's not really feasible right now. And I don't know when it's going to be feasible, at least in my area. And so, I mean, the MD wouldn't be directly beneficial for me. But it could potentially, the MD, an oral surgeon with an MD could be beneficial if you're looking to apply to fellowships. Okay, that it could be. It's not necessary, but it can help, right? There's a whole nother layer of connections and stuff. PZZ, Pizzy, PPR. How did you make the transition from dental school to residency? Do they just throw you in there and all of a sudden you have to magically learn anesthesia and resuscitation of patients? Yes and no. Yeah, they do. They kind of just throw you in there for certain things like certain procedures, but for the most part, you have some supervision, you have some guidance by an older level resident that can be there to help you out. So that definitely helps. But for the most part, you just kind of get thrown in. There's no orientation. There's really no orientation. It's just like, all right, here's your hospital badge. Here's some scrubs. Get in there. It's like jumping into the deep section of the pool to learn how to swim. It's kind of like that. User 58966. Thank you. You got it. Royce Lee sent a rose. Thanks, Royce. Mike the Bike 1231. How are you feeling about boards? Do you think working part-time leading up would be a smart idea? I don't have an option to work part-time. I don't have an option to work part-time. Would it be a smart idea? I mean, yeah, it could help, but I don't have an option to do that. And even if I did, I got to work. I got to pay bills. I have things to do, So it's tough. I'd really rather not take the boards. I'm going to take them just once. I'm just taking these boards once. Like, God forbid, though, if I fail, it's going to be a big hole because the following year in January, I got my wedding. There's not going to be time to study for it next year. So I have to, I gotta go for it. I'm swinging for the fences on this one try, but I really am working hard. I don't know how it'll go, but we will see, JTBC_8 D2 here, and Ortho is far gone. What are my chances if the workforce for a while then applying? What? I'm gonna read that again. Am I missing something? D2 here, and Ortho is far gone. What are my chances if in the work first for a while and then applying? Oh, so you're saying what if you just go work for a while and then come back and reapply for Ortho? It can be done. It can be done. And I know people that have done it before. It's just hard. It's hard. It's going to be harder for you because once you start working in the real world, those responsibilities really pick up. There's a lot of weight on your shoulders once that starts. And then trying to manage studying for getting into ortho residency, I think you have to take the GRE too, right? The GME? GRE? I think it's the GRE exam. And so trying to pick up all those things from where you left off, it's a lot. It's not easy to do, you know? Ish ZZZ, follow the live creator. Thanks, Ish ZZZ. Thanks, friend. Kidda said, "Have you done any osteotomies or double jaw surgeries as in the attending?" I have. I haven't done any as the attending. That would be done in a hospital setting, and I don't have hospital privileges, so I have not done that. Will I in the future? I don't know. I don't know. We got to see. We got to see. Talia.Blotter said, yes, board studying is killing right now. Oh, they do, right? It's killing us. They take their first half of boards this January PGY4. Oh, so so you have your boyfriend or husband is a PGY4. Yeah, the oral boards exam. So the board exams for oral surgeons, it's two parts. The first one is written, and then a year later you take the oral board. So you answer questions verbally on the spot by people sitting right in front of you, the attendings. And the first one, the written boards exam, is in your last year of residency or first year out. I know people taking it their first year out, so it's one or the other. And then 1 year after that is when you take the oral boards. And then if you pass those, that's when you're a board certified oral surgeon. So just to keep that in mind. Tylan said, "Love the pods, doc. I'm going into my second semester of D1, hoping to pursue OMFS. Go for it, Tylan. And thank you. Thanks for your kind words. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Just remember, don't be narrow-sighted. Don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't tunnel vision yourself, going only for one specialty. Remember, keep everything else in mind. There might be other things in dentistry that you find fascinating. And that's something, even if you don't go into another specialty, it's something you could pull, a passion that you could pull that helps you advance as an oral surgeon in that career path. Okay. So it's good to keep your eyes open on everything that's going on in dental school to see what you can learn from. Kidda said, when do you plan to go private practice? I am in private practice right now. Kidda said, did you know the first dentists were barbers, aka barber surgeons, for their skills with razors? That is true. That is true. I mean, hopefully they weren't using razors on teeth, but yeah, the first dentists, they were barbers. Did you know that ketchup was one of the first medications as well, and one of the first anesthetics was cocaine? Yep. And what's another funny thing? They used to wash their hands in just water or not at all, believe it or not. Yep, the surgeon's hands were looked at as like pristine, like a god's hands. And at least my experiences in New York, doctors and surgeons aren't cared about much at all anymore. So the world has completely changed. I got another fun fact for you. Did you know that elephants, they die because they lose all their teeth? They have like 7 or 8 sets of teeth, and they die because they starve. Right? They lose all their teeth, and they run out of um, backup teeth, and then unfortunately elephants starve. But yeah, I'm sure elephants would live even longer if they had that. So the next time you see an elephant, make sure you let it know to brush its teeth. Deyvvi said, did you get any bad grades in college? I just got a C plus in calc. Ooh, my lowest in college was a B minus, I think. B minus, and in dental school, same thing, B's. My thing was I didn't want to get anything less than a B in undergrad, and in dental school, and it worked. That was my model. That was my thing. I wanted to only maintain A's and B's, regardless of how many of each, because sometimes you can't control that. But just push and make sure you get only A's and B's. That was my thing, and it worked. So good luck if you can do that. All right. Jar Jar Binks said, I applied for dental school 2025, got rejected, studying for the DAT again. What'd you get on the DAT? Are you sure you didn't get in because of the DAT? Because there's a lot of elements to that application. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that your GPA was okay. You want to make sure your letters of recommendation were good. That's important. What if you're studying for this DAT again and it was a letter of recommendation that you just needed to get from you just needed to delete it and get from a different attending or a faculty member at your college? It's important to really have the self-awareness to kind of know, if you can, what went wrong on that application. Mike the Bike 1231. Is there limited attempts for OS boards? Here in Canada, you only get 3 shots in your whole life. There might be. I don't know. It might just be 3 shots. I mean, three shots. It does sound familiar, actually, now that you mentioned that. That might be it. DDD said, hey, Doc, hope you're doing well. Thanks, DDD. You too. I hope you're doing well, too. I hope you're enjoying the holiday season. You're studying hard. You're working hard if you're working. Let's continue. Here. What do we got here? What if I put this over here? Is this in the way? Actually, that works kind of well. Doesn't really look as good though, like that. That looks better. All right, we'll just keep it here. We'll just keep it here. All right, so we got what's next? Tylan. That's my favorite part of dentistry. All specialties are great, even general special profession. It is. It is a special profession. I was thinking about it recently, and what you end up doing for a living is super important, right? Because, like for example, dentistry, medicine, anything in healthcare, right? You're helping people, and I think that's excellent. And you need to love what you do. But honestly, I think doing something that you love or what you're good at, while those are most important, or while those are so important, I'm starting to think the most important thing is the culture and environment that you work in, right? Like how many days you work, how many days you could take off, who's the team that you're working with, what's the autonomy allowing you to, or not allowing you to do what you love in the profession that you're in. Because what if you're like a marketing person that loves to do events, but you're stuck doing email marketing and you don't like that, and your boss doesn't let you switch and has no plan for you to kind of to advance into a role that you're excited to do. So what I'm getting at is that's one thing that I loved about, and it's becoming harder. But what I loved about dentistry that I saw, this is 10, 15 years ago when I started getting into dentistry, I saw that my mentors loved working. They all owned their own practices. And why is that important? Sure, it's very stressful. You have a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders when you're the owner. Everything's on you, but everything's on you. You get to call the shots. You get to make the choices. How many days you want to work in the week? Who can you hire? Who do you not want to hire? Who do you not want working at your place anymore? What kind of environment do you want in your workplace? What kind of, if you've ever seen the movie, the Scrooge movie, this is from, I don't know, probably like 20 years ago, but they were in London and it was the Fezziwig guy. Fezziwig was the old, he was the attorney of Scrooge when Scrooge was younger. And if you've seen that movie where it's like Christmas Eve and they all like rush to close up the shop and everything, and then they have like they have a Christmas party at the end. They all loved it. They were all super happy. That's the kind of workplace I want to create. I want everyone to be enjoyable. If they can't or they're unhappy about something, they can bring it up with me or someone else in the workplace so that we can kind of make it more enjoyable for them. That's my goal. I want everyone a part of the team to feel a part of the team and has a prominent role in the organization and reaps the benefits of that too, not just the owner or that's my dream goal in a workplace environment. And you know why that's so important? Because you might only, so doing something you're good at and what you love is so important, right? But what if you only do something you're good at, you don't really love it anymore? Or what if you really love what you're doing, but you're not really that good at it? If you can get your work, your day-to-day workplace where you're surrounded by a talented team, a supportive team, you have supportive staff, or you have a supportive boss, your commute isn't too far, you don't have to break your back to do what you do day to day, you could take off the days that you want to take off, you get to work the days you want to work. I think that is the key to happiness these days. You got to find something you're good at and or something you like, but then finding the culture, environment, and a position that gives you the autonomy to do what you want. I think that's so crucial. So let's keep it going here. Oh wow, we got a lot to get to. Okay. Thailand. My favorite part is Mike the bike 1231, and that's required to practice. Unlike in the USA, oh, it's required to practice in Canada. Well, that sucks. I don't like that. User 72141, deciding between UPenn and Boston Dental School. Difference in costs is about 80K. Would you say it's worth it? Well, I would look at more than just the tuition of the school. Okay, what about the location to it? What about the match stats? If you're potentially interested in pursuing a specialty, that's a good idea to know if like, are you going to be able to get into that specialty? You know what I mean? What's the previous match rates of people at that dental school going into specialties? You could check that out at prenetmeasurement.org. I would check that out actually. Go to prenetmeasurement.org and see what the previous match rates are of that of those two dental schools. You said Boston University and UPenn. Those are two completely different states. That's Massachusetts and Pennsylvania. I would look into that. All right, let's. Why does it keep asking me to co-create with someone? How many times do we have to do this? How can I get rid of this? This is so annoying. Okay, let's continue. DDD doing non-cat at West Virginia next year. Low end GPA/rank. Taking the CBSE one time in February. For the first time in February. Any advice? Yeah, man. Oh, wait, hold on. What do you do? If you haven't taken the CBSE yet, why are you doing a non-cat next year? When you do a non-cat, you realize you're not going to have as much time to study for that CBSE than if you did a GP year or GPR year, going to a different residency. if you haven't taken the CBSE yet, look, I hope you do well and you crush it this time. What if you don't crush it and you're already locked into a non-CAT year? You're not going to have sufficient time to study for that CBSE exam during a non-CAT year compared to a GPR year. Or an AAGD year. I'm just letting you know that that's something really important to consider, because everyone just says like, oh, if you don't get in your first year or you're not ready to go into residency, do a non-CAT year. I disagree with that. If it's the CBSE that's lacking in order for your application to be strong to be considered as an applicant to oral surgery, then you need to take that CBSE and get a score there before you do a non-CAT year. Non-CAT year is because you need more experience or a better application, stronger application. Not a non-CAT year, you need to retake the CBSE or to get a good CBSE score. I would focus on that CBSE before you lock yourself into a non-CAT year. Just my opinion. Romeo Hunter Lauren. Do you think I should take biostats before the DAT? I don't think that's going to matter. Honestly, I don't think that's going to matter. Take the DAT, man. Take the DAT and apply. Jay Trevetti, is there any implant courses you recommend for GPs? I don't know. I don't know of implant courses for GPs. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure there are out there. I don't know which ones are best. Everyone just wants to do implants these days, it looks like. Or implants are clear aligners to get that specialty money, but I don't know if that's the best thing for dentistry. Jay Trevetti, is there... Yeah, you know what I mean, Jay? It's and I know you want to get implants and stuff, but it's I don't know. Dentistry's changing, and I don't know if it's getting better for patient care. Mike the Bike 1231. Do you think you'll ever do a fellowship in the future? Nope, I won't be doing a fellowship in the future. That's 100% no. If you did, what area would it be in? I'm not doing it, and I'm not looking for areas to do it in. The St. Louis fellowship looks pretty outstanding, by the way. Or I guess the Duke one sounds pretty good because Dr. Andrew Yenzer, you should look him up. He's the program director at Fort Liberty for OMFS. He went there, but probably the St. Louis one. That seems to be, they have a really good culture for it. But no, I wouldn't do a fellowship. That's just doing a lot of work and specialty for no benefits. Maybe not no benefits, but just, I don't know, for what I want to do. It's not direct benefit. Next, Gotti said, do you be doing Laforts? I haven't done Lafort since residency as of right now. Right now I'm studying for boards, and that's taking up all my time outside of work. So that's another thing to consider. JFCJD said Romeo Hunter Lauren said not needed. Jay Trevetti said, is there any implant courses you recommend for GPs? I don't know. I don't know if I know that they're out there. I don't know of any specific ones. Chicken Bake Muck said, is 78 a good CBC? It sounds like a pretty strong CBC to me. Yeah. Gotti said at Romeo Hunter Lauren helps a bit for QR. Not going to lie. You think biostats helps with the quantitative reasoning part, the math portion of the DAT? I don't know. I don't know if that would. I don't know. Omar underscore B123. Getting root canal Tuesday. Anything I should know for aftercare? Thanks. For root canals, I would ask an endodontist, or if you're getting it done at a general dentist, I would ask them for their aftercare. I don't want to step out of my boundary and be giving aftercare instructions for a procedure that I don't do. I haven't done a root canal since dental school, so that was my last year. So that's 4 to 5 years since I've done a root canal. I'm not giving you recommendations on aftercare with a root canal. Root canal is endodontics, and I'm in oral surgery, so I don't want to step on anyone's toes. I'm just going to stay in my lane. You know what I mean? Ari101 said, skip my question. Where's your question, Ari? Ari101 said, I've been practicing GP for a year and I don't love it. How to apply to OS after practice? After you started practicing, I would start with the CBSE. You got to get a CBSE score in, okay? And then you could get some letters of recommendation, maybe shadow some oral surgeons. You could go from there. I would make sure that this is what you want to do and you think that this will fix everything that you're unhappy with first. Then get a CBSE score, and then once you get a CBSE score, you can apply from there. All right, you're gonna have some work to do. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? Upanesh Chenni said, "How's the work-life balance as an OMFS compared to dentists?" Well, work-life balance compared to general dentists, not as good. If you're taking call, that sucks. Call sucks, man. Call is not fun. Call is having to go into the hospital, see an emergency at like 1 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday when you have a baby, you have your baby newborn at home that you got to get up in 2 hours to feed to help out your wife because she's at home and you want to start a family after residency. And now you're doing that. And then if you're in certain parts of the US and they're not even paying you to take that call, yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. But yeah, and the ROI is changing. There's a lot of gatekeeping going on with general dentistry, I'm noticing. And it's in certain areas. This is not everywhere in the US. And I'm also finding that it's definitively driven by the insurance reimbursements, the insurance costs, the cost of living areas, the taxes of certain areas. And I'm noticing those areas of high cost of living and high taxes are also areas where the insurance companies have lower reimbursement for certain treatments. And so what is everyone trying to do? They're trying to get treatments in that aren't covered by insurances. Or if they are covered, they have the highest coverage by the insurance company. And even that highest is only based on a number from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. But that being said, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. So the work-life balance, I mean, it's different. It's different. And the general dentists, it's different there too. There's a lot more corporate positions for general dentists, but I mean, I don't recommend corporate positions. I really don't. I think private practice, and the smaller the better. I mean, there are some DSOs that give great autonomy and space and respect to clinicians. There are. It also depends on what you want to do. If you want to handle more on your plate, you want more responsibility, you want to be able to, I don't know, you want to manage everything yourself. Sorry, I just got distracted. If you want to take on that responsibility and have complete autonomy of yourself, then you need to go more private practice or start your own practice as an owner, right? If you don't really care about autonomy, you don't really care about, you having say over your work hours and office environment and, what treatments you do or don't do, then maybe, corporate's just fine for you. But just remember, they have all the power in the world, all the leverage over your job. Careful with that. Okay. Invader 1031. Any tips for removing distoangular impacted wisdom teeth? It depends. It depends because, distoangular is one form. That's the Winters classification. Distoangular is when it's going back towards the ramus, right? One thing I would say is there's other things. Is it lingually displaced? Is it buccally displaced? Is it straight in the middle? How much bone is overlying it? Where is the inferior velar nerve? How close is it to the lingual cortex? Because, on the other side of the lingual cortex, you have that lingual nerve that you want to avoid there when you drill through. So your technique is going to be predicated on a lot of those factors because you need to avoid that critical anatomy, right? Otherwise, my favorite thing is just to hemisect, cut that crown down in between the roots, section it, and then pull the backhand out, pull the front end out. Hopefully the roots are still connected to the coronal portion of those parts. Otherwise, another thing you could do is cut the crown off, get that top part out, and then leverage underneath and wedge in between the alveolar bone crest and the roots, wiggle that out and get that out next after, okay? So there are two ways that I would think of first off. Depending on the situations, I would go with one of those two. Ari101 said, thank you. You got it. All right. Nor said, how would someone be a competitive applicant for Stony Brook / dental school in general? Competitive acumen, it's going to be for dental school, it's going to be GPA, it's going to be DAT, it's going to be your letters of recommendation, it's going to be your extracurricular activities. Did you do research? It's going to be the same thing, everything. It's going to be the same thing every time. You just do all those things, to the best of your ability. Eddie, what workflow do you recommend for studying for the CBSE, et cetera? Pat FOMO, UWorld. Eddie, great question. Go to CBSE dissection because we're going to tell you how you want to do like first two passes through UWorld, for example. The first time, go topic by topic to learn every of the topic. Once you get through one full pass of UWorld, going topic by topic using other resources like Pathoma, First Aid, Sketchy, Boot Camp. The second pass through UWorld, now you're going to be going randomized questions, not topic by topic. And I would also recommend doing your first block of the day timed. You can learn everything more detail of why we recommend doing that on CBSE dissection. Look it up on podcasts, YouTube, wherever you look for your materials there. All right. David Doc said, is it true that you can tell if someone's been giving head recently? Actually, yes, it is true. It depends on if there's ecchymosis on the posterior palate, soft palate. But yeah, you can sometimes. Anyway, H, how do I study in undergrad? I'm struggling how to attack OChem and physics. Well, OChem is it's kind of like a Sudoku puzzle in motion for chemistry. So that might be, you need something more visual. Okay. Otherwise, to attack physics is practice with those problems. My biggest thing is Quizlet though. Get those repetitions in by using the Quizlet cards. Okay, that's my thought on that. H, how do I study for undergrad? Oh, that's that last one. Yeah, guys, get used to using Quizlet, especially in undergrad. In dental school and residency, you can't always use Quizlet, but pinch and roll. And watching how some other content creators make their lives and stuff and chat, and I like to see how they have fun with it, but I got to implement that more. And I need like my like safe space though. I'm kind of like in the middle. My dad still lives here, and anyway, yeah. So Mike the Bike 1231. How much time do you have? How do you book the extract a lower 8? say a routine mesoangular impaction, Pelling-Gregory level B, class 2. Yeah, I usually book those appointments. If it's one tooth, dude, 5-10 minutes. If it's all four and we're doing it under IV sedation longer, I would book 45. If it's those under local, I would give a maximum of 30 minutes on an appointment. That should be more than enough to get those all done. Mike the Bike 1231. I always try to book an hour as an inefficient new grad GP. And is that for one tooth? You said extract a lower 8. So one lower 8? No, that's a third. All my appointments, I make at least 30 minutes, but like IV sedations, I've been booking for just 45 minutes now. They've been going really well. They're going really fast. And I've been trying to pack my schedule in a lot now because, look, every day I have multiple no-shows. I get multiple cancellations. And that just blows holes in my entire schedule. And I'm sitting around for hours waiting for something. I can't do that. I can't afford to do that. My practice, if you don't hit a minimum, they take it out of your bonus of following quarter after. It wasn't in my contract, but nonetheless, that's how it is. So I need to hit that minimum. And so like I can't afford to be sitting around during the days of the month. So yeah, I have to book with the cancellation. I had to figure it out, with those cancellations and no-shows. So I have to pack my thing twice. We take most insurances. We take Medicaid patients. It's a very, very busy day. And, I'll see 20 to 30, I'll see 20, 30 patients a day, and 15, 20, 25 of those are surgeries on a busy day. You know what I mean? Yeah, maybe it's like 15 to 20 surgeries, maybe 10 to 20 surgeries. Maybe I don't know. I got to look through it again. I haven't counted in a couple months. But yeah, it's 20 to 30 patients a day, sometimes more if there's a lot of follow-ups and consults, but otherwise surgeries 10 to 20, I guess. Maybe that's right. I don't know. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I think maybe that's right. Yeah. I think that's right. God, now you got me wondering. I might just be spewing and not knowing what I'm talking about. Ari101 said, follow live creator. Thanks, Ari101. Eddie said, thanks. You got it, Eddie. Yep. CBSE dissection. That's your key to CBSE studying, okay? Alexis Perez Sedena. How would you go about applying to OMFS as a new grad dentist? Focus on CBSE or external or non-CAT? Yeah, focus on CBSE first. Number one, get your CBSE out of the way. Okay, get the CBSE before you start to make any other shifts. Non-CAT, no. CBSE first. CBSE, focus on that, okay? The reason being is if you could do a non-CAT, if you never get that CBSE and you never get the time to study for that CBSE, you're never going to get into an oral surgery program. If you get the CBSE and then you apply and you don't get in, then you do a non-CAT. Okay, as long as you got that CBSE in, then you can move on, you see? Busy PPR said got 2 C's out of 50 classes that were all A's and B's, but those 2 classes were college seminar 1 CR 1 semester. Okay, well, at least they were early, and hopefully you could show a progression of getting better and better and more, higher scores as you went. That's a very good look towards dental school if you do better. Busy PPR, do you think I should retake them? I don't know. Depends on maybe your DAT could balance out those scores, right? See how you do on the DAT, and then you could figure out if you need to retake them. Does that make sense? Upanesh Chenni said, how much if OChem carries on from Gen Chem? I didn't do great in general chemistry. So they're separate classes. OChem is different. I felt that organic chemistry was much different from general chemistry. Organic chemistry is solving reactions and using elements in different molecules to solve a certain reaction towards a product, right? Or vice versa, or filling in the missing product or reactor or reagent or something. It's different. General chemistry, I think, is more concept based. That's more like I said, like a Sudoku puzzle of molecules. I love that. Invader 1031. Did you do the next episode with the podcast with Dr. Wahan? So Dr. Wahan, and shout out to Dr. Wahan, the Wahan experiment right here, by the way. Dr. Wahan's son's been having multiple surgeries through November and December, and he's doing better. We're just waiting for the date. I think we have the 6th or the 13th. Those are my last 2 podcasts before my boards exam, those 2 dates. So maybe one of those days. Invader, did you get the? Yeah. So that's that. Jordan said, I got dental surgery a few days ago on my molars, and now they really, really hurt. Interesting. What did you have done on your molars? I guess they weren't extracted if they're still in. Rugile said, what tips do you have for maintaining daily routines? Stick to that daily routine. Timing. I think it comes down to timing. You need to compartmentalize things into part of the day. Like I have alarms that I set off, or like certain times where it's like 10 o'clock, 10:04 hits. Alarm goes off on my phone. Time to start my wind down routine. That also has to do with preparation for the next day, making my lunch, getting the coffee ready, putting my breakfast together for the next day, getting my water bottle for work ready to go for the next day, things like that, right? Showering, brushing teeth, stuff like that. Aunt Honey Sosa said, I know you're OS, but what do you think about the future of endo? People worried since GPs do more endo. I don't know enough about endo. I don't know enough. The endodontists I know say that it's fine. There's plenty of endo to do out there. So, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. Mike the Bike 1231. Would you say CBSE or GPA is more important? Say Stellar, CBSE. I think they're both very important because GPA is also similar to ranking. It depends on the program director. The program director is going to weigh either your GPA ranking or your CBSE higher. Okay, it's going to come down to program directors, and it's pretty divided throughout the country. I would say I wouldn't know if it's heavily more one or the other. All right, Chocolat de Million. How did you study when you were at dental school? Did you have any tips? Yeah, I said it before. Quizlet to get those repetitions in. You need efficient and effective studying. Effective studying is getting higher grades. Efficient studies, maintaining those higher grades, but studying for them less and less. And when you're in dental school at an average of about 32 credits a semester, you need that. I recommend Quizlet to get those repetitions in, and you could learn visually, because we're all visual learners on average, right? By putting those diagrams, photos, clinical photos, x-rays on those Quizlet cards, okay? Jordan said, I'm pretty sure it was called an apicoectomy. Oh, yeah, you did an apicoectomy. An apicoectomy, by the way, is generally performed after root canals when there's still some radiolucency, so potentially continued granuloma or chronic infection around the apex of the root, okay, or on the top. And we go in there, we scoop out all that infectious material, clean it out, and then we reverse fill the canal from the top of the apex of the root. We remove the top 2 to 3 millimeters of the root, and that's what we do. So that is the apicoectomy procedure. And yeah, you could be sore I've had patients sore up to like 2 weeks after apicoectomies, if I remember correctly. But everyone's different. Chocolat de Million, thank you. You got it, Chocolat de Million. Bro, how do you get over FOMO of 20's fun going out during dental school and residency? I just was determined. I just decided to sacrifice. I'm still sacrificing. My fiance is at a party right now. I'm here. I just did 3-4 hours of studying, and I decided to hop on a TikTok live because it's been also months since I've been able to stop by and check in with you guys. But there's always FOMO. Do you get over? You never get over FOMO. My whole point is when I finally have that time, I want to be able to use it. I want to have the money to use it. I want to have everything clear off the plate. I want to have my profession. Just remember though, the majority of our lives, unfortunately today in 2025 and longer, is work. So my goal was I want to be working. I want to be doing something I enjoy every day, day in, day out, right? And I want to get into a profession where I have the autonomy to do what I want to do and not someone else telling me what I got to do. Another thing is I want to pick the days of the week that I want to work, and I want to pick the days I don't want to work. That's the goal that I'm still working on getting to. So that's kind of how it's going, But FOMO, you don't ever get over FOMO. I'm just letting you know right now. I would say set your risks and rewards. Set your rewards, not risks, but earn your rewards. Say like, at the end of the week, like for me, like Fridays, I'm not studying, I'm not doing anything. I'm enjoying my Fridays. Every day of the week now after residency, don't tell me to do something on Fridays that I don't want to do. You know what I mean? Because I got to have one day of the week that I can enjoy an evening. You know what I mean? So I'm having a couple beers on a Friday night. That's what I do. And you got to find what that escapism is for you. Find that, do it, use that as the reward. If you know at the end of the day or the week you have something to look forward to, that you have set that time and secured that in for yourself, you're going to work harder the rest of the week or the rest of the day. You see what I'm saying? Use that risk reward system to get the most out of yourself and work harder. Aunt Honey Sosa said, if a dental school is ranked, does that mean based on GPA? Yes. So it is 95 the same as a 90 in the end? No, necessarily not necessarily, no, because that average is different into your GPA. And your GPA is based off of the AABC or whatever, but the ranking's not. Got it? Aunt Honey Sosa, Father Live Creative. Thanks, Aunt. Thanks, Aunt Honey. Rose said, do you have any recommendations for OMFS in Nashville? A great course. I've only heard good things about that course. I went to St. Louis and then to the Charlotte, the North Carolina course. Those were great. I'm not doing Nashville. But Rishi Chris 1, Father Live Creator. Thanks, Rishi. Bro, you said, you're the man. Well said. Thanks, man. That's very, very kind of you. The remote Medi joined. Alicia joined. What's up, Alicia? Alicia 100. All right, guys. Paul Sullivan joined. What's up, Paul? Paul K. Sullivan came on. Paul, what's going on, man? Merry Christmas. Cool to see you here. Jordan said, my dentist said the reason it hurts is because I got nerve damage from it, but didn't say what to do. Hopefully it heals. It should heal. if you got the apicoectomy, that should heal. I hope. Hopefully that apico wasn't near the inferior alveolar nerve, because then that could potentially be nerve injury related to the surgery. Hopefully it's completely separate from that. I don't want to get you nervous. I'm sure everything went fine. I think you just need some more time. All right, guys. Last one. Rishi Chris once said, just got into dental school here, wondering what to focus on if going for OMFS. Focus on your grades. Focus on your CBSE next after that. After you get the CBSE score, start to shadow and observe and assist your residency program hooked, linked with your school a little bit more, externships, going to journal club, maybe rounds with the oral surgery program linked with your school. That's going to be that. So focus on those things. That's what you're going to be doing for oral surgery. Okay, very important. All right, friends. Been on for 46 minutes. I'm going to sign off now. Top 5 listeners. I'm giving you guys a shout out in the caption of podcast, YouTube, everywhere that I post this. So thank you for coming on today. I'll be giving you guys that shout out. And Happy New Year, guys. This is my last TikTok Live. The TikTok Live number 87. TikTok Live number 87. This is my last podcast of 2025. Last TikTok Live of 2025. And thanks for being a part of a great year. I love you guys. Thanks for being part of my podcast family and joining. All right. Wishing you guys a strong finish of this year. We got one week left, not even like 5 days. It's the 27th right now, 27th December. So we got like a couple days left. And the Dental Wizard, D&D, said Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Dental Wizard. Michael Daniello, follow the live creator. Thanks, Mike. All right, guys. Love you guys. I'll be giving you guys a shout out on the podcast. Top 5 listeners who stayed on the longest. And what the heck was that noise? Did you guys just hear that? What the heck was? Did you just hear that? No? All right. I'm signing off, guys. I'm very happy if anything happens. I'm very happy. I would never do anything to harm myself. That's weird. Did you just hear that? Did you just hear that? That's the third. That's the third. Wait, hold on. I'm staying on right now. That's the third time that noise just happened. All right, guys. You heard that knocking, Aunt Honey. You heard that knocking, right? All right, I'm gonna go see. Hopefully, it's just an Amazon package. There was more than knocking. That was like a couple minutes apart too. You know what the problem is? This like podcast studio, quote unquote, this is just like a firewood stove right behind me that we could put wood in. But